Be it fighting against terror backers in the west or expansionist forces in the east, the Indian Army is always prepared to protect the borders of our sovereign territory. My colleague Shivani Sharma gets you an exclusive report from Asia's largest firing range, the Mahajan Field Firing Range in Bikaner, where the Indian Army and Air Force are seen training with state-of-the-art military equipment.
As India and China are in standoff, we've seen that in the month of February, after 11 rounds of talks, the disengagement took place from the Pangong-So's north and south banks. What made China to pull back its tanks? This is the power of our armored regiment, the T-90 Bhishma, the T-72 Ajay tanks, that made this possible. India could negotiate because our Indian military might is strengthening each day. I'll show you about the T-72 tank that is guarding the borders, the line of actual control as well as the line of control and also the international border. Right now we are in Mahajan field firing ranges where these tanks are undergoing training so that their combat capabilities are always at par, at edge, and they can take on any situation on the borders. And to know more about this T-72, I have with me Captain Aman Virdi. So, what is the speciality of T-72?
This tank is basically an extended mine plow. Suppose if we are moving in an enemy minefield and we are detected that we are not we are not able to judge it. So if we pass, T-90 will pass through it and it will damage our tracks. So in case of that, we have EMP. It will come down, the plow will be down, and we will able to create a crossing in it.
So this is the extension that has been made to the, this is the upgradation?
This is basically the modification which I have done in T-72 based. If we remove this, it is basically a T-72 only, but this is the modification which we have done.
Okay. And sir, if we talk about the range of this T-72 Ajay?
It can fire 3 types of round. The maximum range is 5,000 meter, up to 2,000 meters starting from, and it also have a NSVT. By 1,800 meter we can engage the air attacks. And it has a PKT for the ground target, soft infantry targets.
So how are you enhancing your combat capabilities here in this desert? You are exercising.
We are once in a year we come here for firing and how we tactically move. So that our crews and us can crude up and we will help in a better.
So how it is different from being in a minus 45-degree temperature and this weather?
Like tank is different and we can't move tank in a high altitude this much minus 40, but the main target, if we see a Pakistan or an enemy, we are basically in a desert terrain. So we crude ourselves here so that we can face the enemy there.
So this is the spirit, and they are training here in this desert and they can take on the enemy in any situation, any terrain. And the modifications that are being made to these tanks are making them more capable, more powerful, as we saw that this extended mine plow has been done to this T-72 so that in enemy terrain, the mines can be judged and taken out. So in the battlefield, how the infantry moves, it moves in these BMPs, and what you are seeing here is the infantry combat vehicle, the BMP-2. This is enhancing the movements and combat capabilities of our army in any kind of battlefield. And to talk more about this, I have with me Major Sanjay Gehlyan. Sir, a very warm welcome on Republic.
Thank you.
How these BMPs are helping the soldiers, if a common man wants to understand?
Ma'am, this is the infantry combat vehicle, BMP-2. It is a very potent weapon platform for the troops of mechanized infantry. which provides them firepower, protection and mobility during the active operations. For firepower, it has got a 30 mm cannon gun which can fire up to 4 kilometers in day and night. Most importantly, it has got a missile launcher which can destroy any enemy tank target in day or night up to 4 kilometers of range. Plus then it has got very special mobility features. It is very potent in deserts, in high altitude.
How many soldiers can be?
Ma'am, total 10. 3 is crew and 7 is for the infantry actions.
We are also seeing a modified vehicle here. Tell us more about this.
Ma'am, this is the modified version of the same platform, that is BMP-2. We call it carrier motor tracked. Basically, it provides mobility to the 81 mm motor section of the mechanized infantry battalion, basically to provide them matching mobility with the other troops that are taking part in the operations.
So, in all kind of terrain, you are capable now?
Yes, ma'am. All kinds of terrain. Even these days, mechanized infantry has been operating in high altitude area also, in deserts, as you are seeing yourself. So it's a very potent weapon in all kinds of terrain, ma'am.
And what further enhancements are you looking into? Like, what more is being done?
Ma'am, like upcoming technological advancements, the efforts are to continually upgrade the firepower systems, the protection systems, and the mobility features, so that we are up to date with the other armies of the world.
So we are up to date with other armies of the world. In fact, Indian Army is growing fast and it is exponentially transforming with the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat, enhancing on every front, be it these BMPs or the firepower or the tanks, and they are deployed in each terrain in the minus 45-degree temperatures also. They are performing well, and that is what is giving India a new India state, a new India vision, and it is giving power to the whole nation. As the situation of the world's geopolitics is evolving, India and Indian Defence Forces are keeping them prepared for any kind of situation. Today at the Mahajan field firing ranges, we'll show you the strength and the exercises of the armoured regiment. We'll show you the T-92, the Bhishma tank, the T-72 Ajay tanks, and the mechanized infantry, how they are gearing up for their combat capabilities on the borders, be it the line of actual control or the line of control or the international border. So these armoured regiment, they are preparing, they're exercising for any situation, and we'll show you much more. We'll show you the firing drills, how they are exercising at Asia's largest field firing ranges. Real-time exercises in a battlefield by these T-90 tanks along with T-72 and the other mechanized infantry vehicles, the BMPs. You see these tanks hitting the target bang on, and here in Mahajan field firing ranges this exercise is going on, where you see the T-90 tanks firing on the target with precision and might. This exercise is going on, and every year these kind of exercises are conducted on this firing range to keep the combat capabilities of the Indian Army, the Indian Artillery, the armoured up to the mark. And Team Republic is on ground to bring you these operations so that you can see how the Indian Defence Forces are toiling to keep the borders safe. This is the ALH weapon system integrated, the Rudra aircraft. You see that this is hovering above the target here in this integrated exercise that's taking place in the Mahajan field firing ranges. And this particular aircraft has the missile systems in it integrated, and this will show how in a battlefield with the armoured, in coordination with the armoured and the Air Force, this aircraft can engage the target and hit the target with precision. On the diplomatic front, India is enhancing its relationship with the highest orders of the world, like the Quad. And here inside India, these practices are going on, which keep the Indian Army ready for action anytime, anywhere. You see in Mahajan, this is the exercise that's happening where you see the BMPs, the T-90 tanks, the T-72 tanks. They are all in action in the field. They are engaging the targets, and this is the real-time exercise that's happening in Rajasthan's Bikaner. This is the Asia's largest field firing ranges, where we are seeing the action by the armored regiment of the Indian Army. They are engaging the targets in this firing range, and this is an integrated exercise where we see all the assets of the Indian armored. They are together in the warlike situation. They are firing the targets with precision, with might, and this is how our Indian Army is ready for line of actual control and line of control, and also the international borders. So this is the synchronized effort of the Indian Army in the battlefield. You see these infantrymen are coming out of these BMPs, and they are provided with cover fire by these BMPs that mobilize them in the active battlefields. So when we see these T-90 tanks and T-72 tanks, these BMPs who are actually carrying the troops take them inside the battlefield, and then they are ready for action. So this is the collaborative effort of the all arms of the Indian Army. They work together in the time of war, and they are ready for any kind of situation, any challenge, anytime. Such exercises keep the endurance of the Indian Army high always for any kind of terrain. And I have with me Lieutenant Colonel Rishi Dikshit, who's going to tell us how these kind of exercises are helpful to the Indian Army. Sir, this exercise, what we are seeing, what is happening right now in this?
Ma'am, this is an annual field firing of Saptashakti Command's dot division that is taking place. As you can see in front of you, the armor columns along with the mechanized infantry are training for their firing. And also because in actual operations, land warfare will not be undertaken in a standalone mode. So air will also play up a role, because of which we had armed hepters and also attack hepters taking part in the integrated firing.
This was a synchronized
It was a synchronized training exercise.
So how does it help, or how many months do you spend training like this?
Ma'am, as you have to be training all year long, so there is no respite in that, because the harder you train, the better you equipped and the better you are prepared to fight in battle.
Correct. So the harder you train, the better you are equipped to take on any kind of challenge, and that's what we are seeing here in the Mahajan field firing ranges, Asia's largest field firing ranges, where the Indian Army is training hard so that we stay protected and the national borders are safe always. With Vijay, Mahen Singh Parmar, Shivani Sharma reporting for Republic from Bikaner.